In the manifestation community, in the various videos from various content creators out there, we have all different ideas on how manifestation works, what we need to do as the individualized human being experiencing reality, all the things we need to do to fix, to change, to, become. And it is very frustrating. And Neville Goddard broke it down for us when he talks about the disciplined versus the undisciplined mind. Now, no, this is not going to be another video letting you know how you suck at this and you're not disciplined. We're just going to go a little bit deeper. And if that interests you, well, then I encourage you to stick around. Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you're all doing fabulous. I hope you're all choosing to be the versions of yourself that have exactly what you want. I hope that's what you're doing. I hope you really, really are. And do you understand why I even say that opening each day? It's because in my experience, in my opinion, how we change who we become, how we get reality to change is to become aware of being the self experiencing the desire. It's the version of you that is experiencing the desire, but it is also this version of you who experiences it through the place of normality, as in it is normal for you to have this. And I know we talk about specific person a lot, but I know there are many other things being manifested out there, including money, health, change of appearance, change of career, getting a new home, a new car, all sorts of things. And each one of them, how to do it is to become. To become to become aware of already being that self. And let's talk about what Neville says. The wise and disciplined man sees no barrier to the realization of his desire. He sees nothing to destroy. With a fixed attitude of mind, he recognizes that the thing desired is already fully expressed. For he knows that a fixed subjective state has ways and means of expressing itself of which no man knows. Before they ask, I have answered. Isaiah 65:24. I have ways ye not know of. Isaiah 42:16. My ways are past finding out. Romans 11:33. The undisciplined man, on the other hand, constantly sees opposition to the fulfillment of his desire, and because of the frustration he forms, desires of destruction, which he firmly believes must be expressed before his basic desire can be realized. And I'm sure you have thought at least once in your life, what are the things that have to change or get out of the way before I can have my desire? And why is that? Why is it so easy for us to consistently question reality? Well, I pondered that question myself. And after some time, I've gathered a little info and let's talk about it. Number one, the brain is wired for survival, not truth. Survival. Your subconscious doesn't care if you're fulfilled. It cares if you're safe and predictable. When the 3D reality doesn't reflect what your imagination or imagining, your mind goes, woo wee, something's wrong. Red alert, something's wrong. Abort mission, right? Manifestation failure. I don't see what I want, or I haven't seen any changes. Your brain scans for consistency between inner and outer experience. When it doesn't find, it calls it fake or failure, even though nothing is wrong. That gap between desire and current 3D equals where your brain panics. I'm looking at my notes over here just in case you're wondering what I'm reading from. Number two, we're addicted to immediate feedback loops. The world has conditioned us. Tap, instant dopamine. Order, instant delivery. Google, instant answers. So when manifestation doesn't come with an Amazon Prime timestamp, the mind starts doubting. Did it even work? Am I crazy? Is this all a lie? Did the spiral I had last week add another day to this manifestation? No, by the way, just for the sake of saying, no, that's not what's happening. You're not crazy. You're just detoxing from proof addiction. I liked that. But really, a lot of us sit in the mindset that if we don't see something tangible, right? Something physical in 3D reality, we don't feel good. And we're looking for that thing to allow us to feel good. Some of us upset ourselves so much because maybe we haven't had any movement in a really long time. And not only are we judging ourselves for not having movement, we question whether we're doing this right? We start pointing fingers, beating ourselves up simply because we haven't noticed something in reality. And don't get me wrong, I'm well aware we just want what we want. We just want to hurry up and get it. And that's why Neville talks about the disciplined versus the undisciplined man. The disciplined man doesn't see a problem when he looks out at 3D reality. The disciplined man sees reality as always changing, and every single thing you experience is in connection to you having that desire. That's what the disciplined man sees or perceives from reality. The undisciplined says, no, nothing's changed, right? My bank account hasn't changed. The money's not growing. I haven't heard from my specific person in 1,000 years. Doesn't feel like that person's interested in me. Or even if you're manifesting new love, well, there's no new prospects. There's nobody interested in me. Every time I go on the app, it's nothing but garbage people. It doesn't look like I have anybody to pick from. So that would signal to the brain, something's wrong. Panic, red alert. But that's our old conditioning, isn't it? It's the conditioning and the addiction for experiencing instant change, instantly. And that's the beauty of it, is a change of state is instant. But we lose sight of that without the 3D matching that new state. And remember, it's your perception of reality that's key. Perception. A third reason is we mistake the 3D for the ultimate authority. Oh my God. Listen, I know that one of you just said, she's talking about me right now. And it's true, especially if you're newer to this. And if you are new and this is the first time you've ever seen one of my videos, how you doing? I'm Kimberly, clearly from the username. I'm Kimberly. And I like to get what I want. I like to get it in a timely fashion. And I like to know everything there is to know about conscious manifestation. And if you can handle this sass, I would love for you to subscribe and be my new friend and let me know in the comments below that you did. Thank you very much. But anyways, back to what we were saying. We let the 3D kick us around and tell us who we are. Not the disciplined man, though. The disciplined man knows, I have decided I am this new version of myself. I am embodying the state of the wish fulfilled. That is who I am. So 3D technically is irrelevant. If I don't see evidence, that does not mean I am not my new self. It's more of, I might not understand why this circumstance is here or why I'm experiencing nothing in reality. But I know who I'm choosing to be, so I know that reality must reflect, so there's nothing to panic over. But the undisciplined sees the 3D as the boss, as the proof. But the 3D is a shadow. It's the dead world, a reflection of previous states, not proof of current alignment, not proof of the current state or the current I am. The 3D is the dead world. Neville called it simply a forgotten state because we question, why is this even here? I never thought that thought. Why is this happening? I never asked for this to happen. I didn't think about this thing, and here it is. It's a forgotten state because every single thing we experience in 3D reality is out of imagination. All things are. Try not to get too literal when you think about that. And Neville himself said, do not dwell on the fact that something is not happening. Dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The moment you say nothing's changing, you're giving the mirror power it never had. You're giving the 3D power. You're giving other people in your 3D free will. That they can just walk around, do whatever the hell they want in reality. Secretly, I understand it sometimes can be very difficult to believe that no one has free will. I understand that. That was something I also struggled with. But no one does. You kind of don't either. Right? We don't determine how a manifestation comes. We don't know what the next experience is. But what we do know, and the disciplined man knows, that whatever I experience is leading to my outcome, to the experience of the fulfillment in the physical 3D outcome. Everything is. Even the things that seem so unrelated, they're related, they're connected. And not only are they connected, they are also, in some semblance, in the orchestration of everyone else around us that we mingle with and their manifestations. That's the beauty of this. If you're in one of my channel memberships, you hear me refer to that all the time because I think it's a good reminder. And if you're not in the channel membership, so I highly encourage you to check out the VIP, the Advanced Manifestors. That's the group where we deep dive this stuff. We deep dive, we expand our awareness. Yes, we do. And I call it the VIP group for a reason, Advanced Manifestors, because that is a group that has access to all of my channel memberships, including the exclusive lives, which is the success story, the tips and tricks group, and the hot seat. The hot seat is exactly how it sounds. You can get yourself into that hot seat and basically have a 10 to 15 minute coaching call with me. It's a lovely group. And sometimes we get success stories for that group as well, just saying, or in that group. But I want to say tomorrow night, this video is going up on Monday. So tomorrow night, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is going to be the exclusive lives membership meeting. You will get the Zoom link under the post section of my channel. And we have some major, wonderful success stories coming to group. You don't want to miss the group tomorrow night. And only the advanced manifestors get access to the recordings of the exclusive lives group. So if an advanced manifestor can't make it, you'll get to see the recording, but everybody else, too bad, so sad. You want to get to group tomorrow night. We have 2 that I've already said. They're going to go first. So we're going to start the group membership talking about their successes. And yes, of course, their SP successes. But I must say they are both multi-manifestors who are getting successes in other areas. Just want to say so. That's a side note. So yeah, check out the VIP, the Advanced Manifestors, because that group also comes with private live streams. And we just had one yesterday and it was fun as hell. It's a great community to be there to pick you up when you're having your stumbly human moments. But that's not what this video is about. But I just thought I would say that. So we let the 3D be the boss. We let it be the boss. Why? Why do we do that? Our mind is conditioned to save us, to keep us safe. So we don't look to ourselves. This is something that we're changing, right? That's the habit we're changing in this community, but in this as in conscious awareness, knowing yourself as God. That's what's happening. You're waking up. You're breaking out of those habits, those uncomfortable, unhelpful habits of believing every single thing you see in reality as something against you. Oh my God, specific person says he doesn't want a relationship right now. For some people, that's the end of the world. For the disciplined man, you know what they think? They think, okay, well, I don't even want that version of you. I want the version of you that is interested in being with me. So goodbye. Goodbye, old state of consciousness. So old manifestation. Hello to the version of you that does. And guess what's going to happen? they're going to experience their person wanting to be in the relationship because they stay disciplined. And staying disciplined doesn't mean you never have a wobble. It doesn't mean that. Another reason why we are so easy to allow things out here to throw us off is unconscious identity loops. Most people live inside a looping identity. Like, if I don't see it, I'm not it. When in truth, if I am it, I will eventually see it. It must. It must. Identity comes before evidence, always. Or another way of saying that is a change in your state of consciousness must happen before we see anything in 3D reality. Because without that, right? Without the being the wish fulfilled, being the version of yourself that has the desire, without your willingness to be a new self, reality isn't going to change. Reality will continue to show you in semblance a recreation. Because that's what we do. When we look out in reality and we see, oh, nothing's changing, this isn't working, specific person still doesn't want me, my bank balance is still blah, 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 $10. It's still like this, nothing's changing. You are recreating or you are perpetuating memory, right? That's what the devil does. That's what Satan does. Napoleon Hill, and also actually Neville Goddard said that as well. Because Satan reacts, Satan recreates. Now, I'm not talking about the Satan and God that the 3D world talks about, or Christianity, Catholicism, and many others talk about. I'm talking about heaven and hell are within our mind. And when we're stuck in what feels like a seemingly hell, where reality is not changing to our benefit, when it doesn't look like we're getting what we want and we keep identifying with it, not working, it's not changing, it's still here. I'm definitely not my new self. Undisciplined man, undisciplined. That's perpetuating the same old shit. And it's why it feels like you are constantly in a cycle or experiencing the feedback loop. Well, because you keep perpetuating the story of the old reality. You keep going along. So those of you who think your person isn't changing, you keep agreeing with that. You keep that story going. So it perpetuates. It keeps recreating. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to get disciplined. And we want to get into our new mindset, the new story. And one of the ways to get yourself out of it is understanding and accepting that reality will give me what I want. If I continue to embody this state of consciousness and I start looking at reality from a place of allowing and understanding, all right, if today a specific person sent the text that they don't want a relationship, but I know I'm doing my due diligence to be and embody and feel myself as the version of ourself that has the desire, then for some reason, somehow, some way, that text exchange or that phone call exchange was supposed to happen, in the timeline or in the reality of you having your desire, even though that sounds like it's the opposite. And I know that, but I can tell you from my own personal experience, I experienced multiple breakups, but still led me to what I wanted. That's why what we see or experience with the senses aren't always, facts, unending facts that are cemented in stone. Sometimes there's a deeper meaning happening. Sometimes there's expansion happening, and maybe it appears as something negative or going backwards, but it's not. It is absolutely to your benefit and leading you to exactly what you want. So are you going to be the disciplined or the undisciplined man? Are you going to see it as something terrible? My world's over. This doesn't work. If he really loved me, he would never say something like that to me. You don't say that when you love someone. You don't. That's how I used to think and behave. And I get it. If you can resonate with that, listen, I thought the same way. I was that identity. That's how I maneuvered in the 3D. But I learned. I learned quickly. It didn't feel like I was learning quickly. It felt like it took friggin' forever. But it really didn't. That was just me catastrophizing what I was experiencing. But I can't deny it led me to the relationship I wanted to be in. It did. And I changed and expanded and grew and rose in consciousness by leaps and bounds. It had its purpose and it led me to an outcome. So just because you're experiencing something that is seemingly negative, don't call it your feedback loop. Don't give it the title. Don't give it the power to decide who you really are anymore. Step out of that old identity. Ask yourself when you're experiencing something and you are very aware that, all right, something negative is here, and I know my old self would respond a lot worse. And right now I want to respond bad. I want to give into that. I want to have the spiral, right? Maybe you just had one. Maybe you're on a verge of one. All right, stop. Why do I believe seeing equals believing? Where did I learn that change had to be immediate to be real? Why am I letting a delayed reflection define what's already done in consciousness? But let's stick to the first one for a moment here. Why do I believe that seeing equals believing? Where did that come from? Why have I allowed such silliness to control most of my life? Why aren't I more open to the idea that maybe I just don't understand how all these things connect to give me my desire? Maybe there really is a higher understanding happening out here that my higher self sees and knows. Maybe it is the infinite intelligence really does have a better plan than I do, because I'm still thinking like a simple, plain old human. Think about it. Most of the time when you don't feel good, what are you doing? You're super duper believing you're a human muggle in those moments. When we're doubting and fearing, we are. And that doesn't make us bad people. That just means it's a moment for us to awaken, or to become conscious again as conscious manifestors. So, is it possible that just because you don't see a change in reality, that actually things are being changed behind the scenes, that you just don't see it yet? Is that possible? And hopefully you at least said yes to that it's possible. Good. You are already shifting in. You're already changing because you're becoming aware of that possibility. So ask yourself the questions. Why am I so determined to believe that this one shit circumstance is going to destroy my whole manifestation? Why do I think that? No change in the 3D means it's still unfolding, not that it's not working. And by unfolding, I know some of you take that quite literal. And so in your mind, you're thinking, yeah, it's unfolding, therefore it's still not here yet. And I say, no, it means it's already unfolded. It's already created. You're living the movie plot, but the ending already exists. Don't think literal, logical, linear. Think bigger. Infinite. Infinite. So it's already created. You wouldn't even have the desire if it wasn't. You're just living the experience of it. That's all it is. It never means things aren't happening. Kind of like when you make an Amazon order. It's why in my old content you would hear me bring up the Amazon van all the time. When you make an order at Amazon, do you keep checking on it or assume it's not coming because you don't see it yet? Maybe some of you do constantly follow the tracking of your package. I would love to ask you why, because if you already know that you ordered it, okay, that's a whole other conversation. I'm not gonna take you down there, but I understand taking a look at the tracking. When it hasn't shown up by whatever it predicted it would be, okay, fine, we can check on things. The difference between an actual Amazon delivery versus a, one from the universe, God, infinite intelligence, we just don't have that tracking. But in one respect, you kind of do. You're living it. You're living your own tracking message. All the experiences you're having are a part of that. You don't immediately go and cancel your Amazon order because it hasn't shown up by noon, do you? You don't. So if this morning at 9 a.m. you made an Amazon order, are you going to cancel it because it didn't show up at 12 p.m. today? You probably don't. So why then do we so instantaneously want to believe this has failed or this isn't working? Because we don't see it in the time frame, the linear time frame that you, the human, believe it should be here by. That's the thinking that needs to be changed. So let me leave you with one more little nugget from Neville. The mind that is disciplined to hear only the good feasts upon good states and so embodies the good on earth. Assume this attitude of mind symbolized as the man with the pitcher of water from the Passover, and you will live in a world that is really heaven on earth. You turn your attention from your present conception of yourself and assume the consciousness of being that which you want to be, thereby passing from one state to another. You allow, you be in flow. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, when you allow yourself to stand in conviction of the self you want to be, so you make that decision that you are this version of yourself. When you do that, and you do not allow 3D reality to tell you differently. So in one respect, it's detachment, right? No longer giving the 3D the authority over you to decide who you are. And you start perceiving reality as everything I'm experiencing is a part of me having the desire. It's a part of me being this new version of myself. You start to see reality as flowing to your benefit. There are other ideas of what flow is. Flow can also be like a feeling, what I would refer to as a download, where you just feel in connection. You feel good. There is an unbelievable knowing feeling in your body, and ideas and people, places, and things start popping up so effortlessly in reality. That's another version of what flow is. But see, you're always in connection. You're just deciding to what state or reality you're in connection to, which is why, based on today's video, you want to start seeing reality as working to your benefit. So you can reap the benefits of doing that, reaping the benefits of being the self you want to be, so that we can sincerely move from our old, we'll say less favorable version of ourself and actually get to experience the desire after all. So on that note, when you catch yourself getting into the old feedback loops, to the old systems of the old state, the old programming, however you want to word it. Ask yourself, why do you believe what you believe? Why do you believe if I don't see it right in front of me right now in this moment that it means it's not working? Or that it means it's going to take forever? Or that it means this failed? Why do I believe that? And you start becoming aware of all those old shitty beliefs so that you can shift. Now, I'm not saying that that is a requirement in order to shift your state. I'm saying that those of you out there who are probably more a little bit on the logical side and need a little assistance to shift your state, it is possible to just decide you are a version of yourself and therefore then become that version of yourself. That is absolutely doable because of who you are as source, aka pure unadulterated consciousness, aka God, universe, higher power, source energy, moonbeams. You call it what you want, but you are it. And you are constantly in at every given second, with every breath you take, you are connected to the infinite intelligence. So there is no desire that is off limits or off the table. The only thing that could ever get in the way of your desire is your own shitty thinking. So, on that note, I will see you tomorrow.